Welcome back, everybody. This video is going to be on low back pain, low back discomfort, um, soft tissue injuries versus stress fractures or herniated discs and things of that nature that may be a little bit more serious. We're going to go over topics such as what you can do to make your back feel better when you're in pain, and when is it time for you to seek a higher referral for either a physician or an emergency room to get some imaging, be it either an X-ray, CT scan, MRI, something like that, to see if there's something bigger going on underneath. So those are the topics. Please stick around and see you after this. All right, so for those of you who have watched some of my videos before, you know me, I'm all about pictures and I like to kind of explain things through a visual aspect. So the first one, anatomy, right? Anatomically speaking, we're going to stick to the low back. We've got our five vertebral bodies, L1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, with the first sacral vertebrae, which is fused as part of your sacrum, being part of that. So in between the five vertebral bodies, we have our lumbar discs, okay, intervertebral discs, and those can be injured as well. They are either bulging discs, herniated discs. You may be familiar with, but for the most part, let's go back to soft tissue injury, right? So your back is hurting you. It's soreness, it's generalized, it's maybe both sides. It's after, if you're an athlete, maybe it's after a hard workout or after a hard competition. If you're just a fitness enthusiast, it may be after a heavier day in the gym, load-wise or volume-wise. And so those are things that make sense. We would expect some soreness after a hard physical event. So ways to make that feel better right off the bat. We're talking heat, okay? Heat is an important modality. It helps bring blood flow to the area. It helps loosen tissue up. And it's a good precursor to then things like maybe foam rolling. And I've got a good video on some foam rolling. I'll link it. Lower extremity foam rolling and spine, so thoracic and cervical parts of the back. So I like to heat things, get them warm, get them full of blood. Then we like to roll things to work on like a myofascial release, kind of break up some adhesions between the muscle, the fascia, and the skin that can take place and lead to pain. And then, of course, we can do some either static stretching, dynamic stretching, ballistic type stretching. Those are things that take place, I would say third in that progression. So we heat it, we roll it, we stretch it, and then we won't really get into muscular imbalances type stuff yet. That's probably for another video, but the first three anyways would be a really good start for soft tissue soreness and ways to help you feel better. When is it time to go get your back checked out by a physician, an emergency room, urgent care, and potentially get some imaging? So again, looking at another picture that I drew up, this would be a side view of your spine now. So again, we still got our five vertebral bodies, our intervertebral discs, and this is what we're looking at. So if a person or an athlete is laying prone or on their stomach, and during an evaluation, I'm able to press on these spinous processes, the part of your spine that you can feel through your skin, okay? If I press on these, right, and they have centralized back pain, and all of a sudden I get to one of them and they jump or they flinch or they get 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 pain on evaluation, that's concerning to a point, especially if the mechanism makes sense. If they've been doing a high repetition exercise, if they're in the middle or end of a season. So if there's been a lot of repetitive stress to the core and the back itself, and they're under very, very tender pain on palpation, that would be a reason to say, we may need to get you evaluated for a type of stress fracture, okay? Stress fractures, especially during adolescence and developmental phases, can occur and are more common than people think. So if your pain, your low back pain, is centralized directly on a spinous process or a segment of the spine, that can be a reason to go get an evaluation, either from an athletic trainer or physical therapist, but for sure, eventually a physician, where then they can order or prescribe some imaging, such as an X-ray, to take a closer look. All right, and the third reason for of low back pain, or another reason to go get checked out by a physician, would be if your low back pain or discomfort leaves the low back. Okay, so we call that either referred or radicular pain. And going back to the first drawing that I kind of showed, I've highlighted in red here. These are the nerves. Okay, so of course, then coming out the top of it actually runs through it, if this makes sense, stay with me, is the spinal cord. Okay, when they exit the spinal cord, they come out here as nerve roots. Okay, and if you do happen to get a herniated disc, a bulging disc, some type of intervertebral disc injury that puts pressure or irritates these nerve roots, this is where you kind of get your sciatica pain. You can get your sciatica pain. This is where pain that runs down the leg, like a burning hot nerve pain, or would be a reason to maybe get checked out, so we can get an X-ray and potentially an MRI or CT scan to evaluate the disc. And keeping this somewhat basic, it's other signs and symptoms of a potential disc injury would be numbness or tingling in the anterior thigh or the front of the thigh or the feet. You'll chronically falling asleep. One or the other would be an indication that you may have something further up the chain, meaning like your low back causing that foot issue. And then the other thing besides sensory, like numbness and tingling, sometimes you'll get motor issues like weakness. If all of a sudden your leg just feels heavy and weak from time to time for no real reason, like you're not exercising, or doing a ton of repetitions that would muscularly fatigue them. Sometimes if it makes sense to say that issue may be coming from further up in the back via a disc injury. So that's a very general overview. If you'd like something more specific, please comment. Let me know that I'm on the right track with some of this information, and I'll be happy to kind of make a video specifically on that. But for now, those are the three things: soft tissue, muscular strains, bony issues such as stress fractures, and intervertebral disc injuries that can cause pain, referred pain, or radicular pain down the leg. So again, those three reasons, most of them do improve with NSAIDs or nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, over-the-counter medications. But also the three things I said before: heating your low back, foam rolling or massaging your low back, and the third one being stretching your low back. Okay. All right, so that's gonna do it. Some low back pain solutions for you. If you like the videos, please subscribe to the channel. Please click the thumbs up. If you have any comments, definitely comment them below. Getting up there, but happy Halloween. And any other topic suggestions, please leave them below, and I'll try and get to them. Thanks, guys. See you in the next one.